decided to leave the house for a week. So my girl and I decided to break into her room to redecorate it for show purposes. Just playing along with the drama of the show, we were shocked by what we found.
Bro, there's no way. Bro. Oh my God, from Puff.
The flowers were from Diddy. Love, Puff. This sent my girlfriend into a spiral. As a woman, she was terrified that Diddy had our address. She let the girl know how she felt and put the card back where she found it. The girl told Diddy what happened, and then Diddy threatened production. So the Diddy girl started screaming at my girlfriend, saying that Diddy was going to sue her because of what she wrote on the note. Worried that we were all going to discuss this sick shit that he was doing on our TV show. The fact that he wanted to silence a girl that he doesn't even know for writing on a note is absolutely insane. Production then pulled every cast member aside and instructed us to no longer have any Diddy conversation for the duration of the show. Diddy threatened to bankrupt our TV show and my girlfriend. We thought it ended there, right? But then Diddy's girl got mentioned in a lawsuit that came out publicly. When this went down, Diddy's girl happened to be in a fight with another castmate. Now that castmate just happened to be dating J-Lo's ex-boyfriend Casper. Diddy's girl was scared that the other castmate was going to use this Diddy stuff against her during their fight. So she decided to make a call to guess who? Kevin Hart. Now at the time, none of us knew it was actually Kevin Hart until later on. So Kevin Hart called Casper and threatened him to make sure he gets his girl in check on the show. Now Casper's girlfriend told all of us that Diddy's girl was also sleeping with Kevin Hart, who happens to be married with children and best friends with Diddy. Kevin Hart clearly made the call to Casper to ensure that Diddy's girl stayed quiet about the affair that him and her were having because, once again, he's married. Kind of weird that Diddy and Kevin Hart are both sleeping with the same girl and threatening our TV show, isn't it? Now listen, I'm just an ordinary blue-collar worker from Jersey, okay? Who happens to be dating a famous OF model, which is how I got on the show in the first place. Now, I'm not a social media star, I'm not famous, I have no reason to lie about any of this shit, okay? Now, the only reason I'm telling you guys all this is because when I was in Hollywood filming this TV show, I went through some sick, twisted shit, okay? So let me know if you guys want to hear about it.
So this is the girl over to the left over here next to Diddy, covered up by that VHS tape. I know I'm going old school with the VHS tape, but right there, that's the girl right there. Now, this girl was connected to Diddy. They have a picture of them kissing. I think People Magazine released a photo. Then, you know, this guy, Vinny, is telling us a story about how she was arguing with someone and she told Kevin Hart about it. Then Kevin Hart called and was all like, hey, you better check your girl about this, blah, blah, blah. So Kevin Hart is sleeping with this girl too. I'm like, damn, Kevin. And then, you know, it kind of opened me up because I was like, wait, Kevin Hart has a history of cheating, you guys. This ain't new for Kevin Hart. He ain't new to this. He true to this. He true to this. But again, it had my mind boggled because remember, they're saying that he's possibly tied to these tapes. Like possibly Kevin Hart is on these tapes as well too. And since they're sharing the same girl, who's to say they don't share her at the same time? Y'all ain't hearing me. Who's to say they're not sharing her at the same time? Definitely, they could be sharing her at the same time in the same bed and same freak off session. Now, I want to say this. The girl Jade, she claimed, because she was listed in the Little Rod lawsuit. Remember Little Rod was saying that the girl was being paid? She was one of the three people. It was Daphne Joy, who's 50 Cent baby mama, Young Miami, and then it was Jade Ramey. And Jade came out with a statement saying that, oh, just because she's tied to, you know, celebrities and she might date people doesn't mean that she's a working girl. And y'all know what I mean by working girl, right? But also this same chick is linked to Jamie Foxx. I was like, damn. And you know, people have been trying to link Jamie Foxx to all this for a long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if he might be on a few tapes and stuff like that. I heard his parties is pretty wild too. So with that being said, it's like all these people in Hollywood, they share the same girl. Now for Diddy, he messes around with everybody. But for Kevin Hart, he's a married man. And remember in 2017 when he got caught cheating? Y'all remember that? With the Montina girl? I think it's Montia. That's what her name is. But we actually got a video for you guys to watch. So let's go ahead. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Let's go ahead and check it out right now. Let me take off this picture real quick. And again, this is fair use. Fair use, fair use. Please don't strike me. Whoever has the copyrights to this video, please don't strike me. I'm a black man doing all that I can to survive these streets. You know what I mean? You know I'm full of it. All right, here we go.
In an embarrassing situation with a woman, not his wife, and that he was targeted in an extortion plot.
I made a bad error in judgment and put myself in an environment where only bad things can happen, and they did.
Over the weekend, Hart posted this admission on Instagram and apologized to his wife and 2 kids.
I know that I'm going to hurt the people closest to me, who I've talked to and apologized to, being my wife and my kids.
According to published reports, a man thought to be Hart was captured on camera getting cozy with a woman in a nightclub as well as a bedroom. Hart then allegedly received a demand for $10 million in return for keeping the sexually provocative video private. The scandal couldn't come at a worse time for Hart. His wife is 7 months pregnant. Now Hart's ex-wife, Torrei, is telling Only Inside Edition that cheating led to their breakup.
And by the way, we're going to get into that whole extortion thing because Kevin Hart was the one who threw his friend JT under the bus. Y'all remember that? And that actually was linked to the whole issue with the assistant. You know, the assistant that say he got a shower room in his office, so when he cheat, he can go wash off. Man, go ahead and hit that like button, y'all.
She spoke with Victoria Ricagno.
What went wrong in your marriage?
Lies and infidelity.
Torrei and Kevin were college sweethearts in Philadelphia and married before Kevin became a big star.
When I met him, he was selling sneakers. He's starting to get fame, and I'm kind of feeling like, okay, well, feeling a little left behind. You know, we grew apart.
Yo, you know that was shady as hell. She was like, when I met him, he was selling sneakers. That is hilarious. Not that he was selling sneakers, but because she was being shady, obviously. We all can agree on that. Yeah, she was being shady. When I met him, he was just making sneakers. Selling sneakers.
In his comedy act, Hart even uses his indiscretions from his first marriage for laughs.
Yes, people, I cheated. Am I ashamed of it? No. No, I'm not. Do I wish that I could take it back? No. No, I don't.
I have an ex-husband who has repeatedly used me in his stand-up routines. You know, for years I had to endure that.
After her divorce, Torrei rebuilt her life, launching a hair product line named Heavenly Heart after her and Kevin's daughter. They also have a son, Hendrix. Torrei says she
sorry, I didn't mean to pause.
She also tried to stay on friendly terms with her ex. Here they all are on the red carpet. That was until Hart's new wife, Eniko Parrish, posted this photo on Instagram, gushing, 8 years together, 1 year married, forever to go.
Now, there's a little timeline indiscretion, and we're going to talk about that because what's the saying, y'all? How you get them is how you lose them. I'm just saying.
But Kevin and Torrei divorced only 6 years ago. So how is it possible she'd been with Kevin for 8 years?
Did Eniko start dating Kevin while you guys were married?
According to her dates, yes.
Eniko claimed they were separated, living in separate homes. I was never a secret.
I was like, what?
Isn't that usually the excuse? Oh, y'all was already separated. Tori's under the impression, no, we was still together. We was in the same house. Now, here's the thing. Kevin, they both could be telling the truth. Kevin could have had another residence that Eniko was staying in and that Torrei didn't know about.
Never a secret. She said that we were separated and not living together. That's a lie. We were very much not separated.
New rumors of infidelity started swirling after paparazzi caught Kevin getting close to a woman identified as singer Monique Gonzalez in a car in Miami over the summer.
Mind you, that's not even the other woman with the whole extortion issue. This is somebody completely new. Like, all the women that Kevin uncheated with, come to the front, please. Come to the front.
Summer, Hart insisted those reports were not true. On Saturday night came Hart's shocking revelation that he was the target of an alleged extortion plot involving an unidentified woman.
There's no excuses for your wrong behavior.
Photographers caught up with his pregnant wife today in Beverly Hills.
Have you accepted his apology?
She had no comment.
Is he capable of cheating again?
I don't know. I can't say yes. I can't say no. I can just say that if it happened to me, it can happen to anyone.
There you guys go. So I wanted to show you guys that one first. So this leads into the whole extortion plot that Kevin tried to say what was going on against him. This involved his former best friend, JT, and he said JT was the one who did it. Now, for those of you who don't know, JT is suing him again because of breach of contract. So those extortion charges were actually dropped, right? But since everything has went down recently, Kevin is basically broke it by blaming his former best friend. So that's why his best friend is suing. So I don't know if JT got any. They said it was a settlement, but I don't know if it included any money. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and check that out as well. Let me go ahead and stop sharing this one. All right, we're gonna move on to the next video. Now this one is by Comedy Hype. So I'm gonna go ahead and put something over the screen because Comedy Hype, they don't like you playing their video, so we just gonna listen to the audio on this one. But I think it's small enough to where they can't see it. Okay, we might be good. Oh, and by the way, that says in 2017, Kevin Hart would take to social media to publicly confront a sex tape, infidelity, and a potential extortion plot against him. In 2008, oh, damn it, I done missed it. I'm sorry. In 2018, his friend of 15 years, Jonathan Todd JT Jackson, would be arrested and charged for extortion connected to the 2017 incident. So 2017 is when he got caught with the Montina girl. Let's go.
If you thought that I did something to you, and we're like this, and these accusations that they're accusing me, your boy, for 15 years, you don't want to sit down and talk to me, brother?
So as we move along, years go by, and then 2017,
yeah,
the public finds out that a sex tape has leaked. And then at this time, Kevin jumps on social media to confront whatever he felt was happening to him.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with you in this moment as his friend when you see this playing out?
Well, I ain't gonna lie, I was disappointed. Still am. I'm gonna be dead ass. Still am disappointed in him. You know, him and I, we've been friends, you know, since that happened, like a good 15 years strong. Like homie, you know my character. You're not gonna hang around somebody that for that long. And
so I just want to briefly interrupt real quick. So Kevin basically tried to make him JT sound like the bitter friend and the nobody and he's jealous of him and all that other stuff. That's the way Kevin kind of framed it about his former friend. So I just wanted to give that backstory.
And invite them into your personal space, you know, not just, you know, like whatever happened that weekend where we all had a good time, we all went out, he invited us all out, but he invited me, my wife, to his home. We, you know, he took us to Mexico. We had, you know, like that was the type of, that's how he looked at us, you know, and like I was just disappointed in, he just immediately, boom, sends out that tweet. Wow. Whatever else said, you know.
Got you.
Yeah, and I was just sat there and I was just like, huh, really? You know what I mean? Like just like that, 15 years, you don't wanna wait for the facts, you don't wanna talk to nobody, you don't wanna.
So there was no call to you?
No, and that was another thing. If you thought that I did something to you and we're like this, and these accusations that they're accusing me, your boy, for 15 years, you don't want to sit down and talk to me, brother? You don't want to look me in my eye and be like.
Now, I find this part interesting right here because you would think at least Kevin would call and be like, hey, did you do this or did you have something to do with this? Like, at least let me know. But Kevin blamed him. And then that's when in 2018, they rushed in and they raided his home. Mind you, the name of the guy who actually was trying to extort them. Now, I don't know if it was an alias, but his name was like Carlos. It was like a Hispanic name. It wasn't him. So let's continue.
You know, like he never, ever sat down and called me on the phone to say, yo, we need to talk, you know? And I just found that odd. You know, that's 15 years, brother. Come sit down with me. Talk to me. I wanted to talk to him. Like, yo, hey, you know, that none of that never happened.
Thank you, Kimmy.
To this day, none of that never happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, I know he has his reasons. He got his team, you know, they telling him, you know, he's a megastar, you know, he can't get caught up into words and then now he may be liable for saying something and vice versa, you know, of us having a conversation that he may not want to have, you know. So, but yeah, man, I was pissed, man. I'm gonna be dead ass. I'm still am, you know, I'm still am pissed, you know, about that.
And I think, you know, the reason why we wanted to speak with you is because from our perspective, you know, we got to see your name thrown out there in headlines.
Mm-hmm.
Judas, like Judas in the Bible, betrayed a friend.
Oh yeah.
Donkey of the day, like a lot of stuff has been said against
the disrespect. Yeah,
and we'll get into that. And then as your team pushes forward with the case, you start seeing these other headlines very quietly. Charges drop.
Yeah, very quietly.
And that was quietly. So for us, it made me feel like, okay, there's still some missing parts in this.
I'm glad, man.
Now, there's a larger conversation with this that they have. And mind you, this was 3 years ago. So this was before the settlement went through. This was 3 years ago. And he was basically defending himself. And he had to basically do Postmates. You know, that's like DoorDash, Postmates. He had to work a regular job. Like Kevin Hart basically got him blackballed to where he wasn't doing anything in entertainment. So that was the other part to it. Charlamagne gave JT Donkey of the Day for nothing. Exactly. And they made him seem like the bitter friend that had no career, no nothing, no ambition. And it wasn't right, you know? It wasn't right at all. And it just lets you know, Kevin is going to blame everybody except himself. Yeah, in his little apology video, he took accountability for what he did. But did he really take accountability? Because you're blaming somebody. And granted, even if it's like an extortion plot or something like that, right? I wouldn't even think of my friend doing this to me. I wouldn't even go like, oh, this is my friend. My friend did. Like, I would at least like reach out to them, try to talk to them. You just automatically go with this person did it, and then the FBI came and raided them because you think that he's a part of the extortion. Like, come on now. And it lets you know how these people roll in Hollywood, because also it speaks to having the power and the influence to take somebody down. Not only did you destroy this man's career, and yeah, he was on Hollywood X, yeah, the husband, Real Husbands of Hollywood, right, Mel? Not only did you destroy his career, you destroyed his livelihood. Like, you destroyed his life. Like, I don't know what else to say. And he is suing him for 12 million. I did find the amount, you guys. He's suing him for 12 million. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. So it says JT sued former friend. Kevin Hart sued by former friend JT Jackson over sex tape scandal apology. And so in here, he's basically claiming that Kevin Hart went against the terms of the settlement. And so this is why he's suing again, because he's bringing this back up and basically throwing his friend under the bus. Remember, Tasha K had interviewed the assistant and then said that she talked to JT. I don't remember exactly what they talked about, and I have to go back and look at that and then update you guys later. And mind you, Tasha K won her case against Kevin Hart. It was thrown out. Remember, he tried to sue her for extortion. Like, he basically saying everybody's trying to extort him. That's his favorite line he likes to say. They're trying to extort me. They're trying to extort me. And mind you, I mean, we know that people want to extort rich people because they feel like they got money and they're trying to get whatever they can get. But if you're not out there cheating, then you don't have to worry about that. Hello, did I say something? And thank you, Princess Diana, for hitting the like button. Make sure everybody else does too. But yeah, if you ain't out there cheating, you ain't got to worry about everybody else. You ain't got to worry about getting caught up. And again, this was all in 2017, but obviously you're doing that in 2024, because why did the girl Jade call you and let you know that something was going on? We didn't forget about that. You know, we definitely didn't forget about it. And for those of you just coming in the room, Jade is the girl next to Diddy with the VHS tape over her. This is who was possibly in those freak off tapes with Diddy and Kevin Hart. So again, you're recently cheating. You're a serial cheater, and you already got called out by your ex-wife. So don't forget that. And for those of you just coming in the room, I'm going to go ahead and play the video from the TikToker Vinny B. He was featured on a show with Jade Ramey, and he talks about how, you know, they went in her room and they seen that Diddy sent them flowers. Mind you, this was after the Cassie lawsuit. And then Kevin Hart got involved too as well. So we're going to go ahead and listen to that right now.
I have insider information on Diddy and Kevin Hart's involvement. I know this because I was on a TV show with a girl who was actively dating Diddy at the time. There I am. A quick Google search will tell you who she is. This girl was paparazzi'd with Diddy back in 2022-2023. Obviously, the cast was concerned about her because the Cassie lawsuit just dropped before filming. Now, the first week of filming just had to be Valentine's Day. Now, Diddy's girl got a very expensive bouquet of flowers delivered on Valentine's Day, but she refused to tell anybody who it was from. It's a reality show, so obviously drama went down. Diddy's girl decided to leave the house for a week. So my girl and I decided to break into her room to redecorate it for show purposes. Just playing along with the drama of the show, we were shocked by what we found.
Bros, there's no way. Bro. Oh my God, from Puff.
The flowers were from Diddy. Love, Puff. This sent my girlfriend into a spiral. As a woman, she was terrified that Diddy had our address. She let the girl know how she felt and put the card back where she found it. The girl told Diddy what happened, and then Diddy threatened production. So the Diddy girl started screaming at my girlfriend, saying that Diddy was going to sue her because of what she wrote on the note. Worried that we were all going to discuss this sick shit that he was doing on our TV show. The fact that he wanted to silence a girl that he doesn't even know for writing on a note is absolutely insane. Production then pulled every cast member aside and instructed us to no longer have any Diddy conversation for the duration of the show. Diddy threatened to bankrupt our TV show and my girlfriend. We thought it ended there, right? But then Diddy's girl got mentioned in a lawsuit that came out publicly. When this went down, Diddy's girl happened to be in a fight with another castmate. Now that castmate just happened to be dating J-Lo's ex-boyfriend Casper. Diddy's girl was scared that the other castmate was going to use this Diddy stuff against her during their fight. So she decided to make a call to guess who? Kevin Hart. Now at the time, none of us knew it was actually Kevin Hart until later on. So Kevin Hart called Casper and threatened him to make sure he gets his girl in check on the show. Now Casper's girlfriend told all of us that Diddy's girl was also sleeping with Kevin Hart, who happens to be married with children and best friends with Diddy. Kevin Hart clearly made the call to Casper to ensure that Diddy's girl stayed quiet about the affair that him and her were having because once again, he's married. Kind of weird that Diddy and Kevin Hart are both sleeping with the same girl and threatening our TV show, isn't it? Now listen, I'm just an ordinary blue-collar worker from Jersey, okay? Who happens to be dating a famous OF model, which is how I got on the show in the first place. Now, I'm not a social media star, I'm not famous, I have no reason to lie about any of this shit, okay? Now, the only reason I'm telling you guys all this is because when I was in Hollywood filming this TV show, I went through some sick, twisted shit, okay? So let me know if you guys want to hear about it.
Now, the show on Tubi is called House of Heat. I've never even heard of it. I've never watched anything on Tubi. I know a lot of y'all like watching those Tubi movies. I've never seen any of the shows or the movies. But yeah, the show is called House of Heat. And so they were on the show together and, you know, basically what Vinny was letting us know, and I know some of y'all said he looked like he on that shit, but I don't know if he lying or not. I mean, he did show proof that Diddy did send some flowers, though. He wasn't lying about that. But anyway, y'all evil. Anyway, with that being said, he was all like, yeah, we were all like, damn, Diddy. Well, his girlfriend was all like, Diddy has our address. I don't feel safe about it, blah, blah, blah. And then knowing after that, Diddy called production, was all like, you better shut this down. Don't mention me. Don't say nothing. And it was kind of like, oh, well, shit. He has enough power to shut down production. And then the girl, Jade, gets into it with somebody else, Casper's girlfriend, and then ends up having Kevin Hart call Casper and was all like, you can't say this and that, and trying to get production in trouble again. Like, wow. And mind you, this is a show that we've never even heard of. And maybe we never even heard of it because they probably didn't air any of this stuff because they were threatened by Diddy and Kevin Hart. It just shows you how powerful these people are in Hollywood. They don't like something, they'll shut it down. But I mean, but shit, they needed the ratings, so they should have mentioned something. And mind you, the Little Rod lawsuit came out in February, so I'm curious if they even talked about that. I am curious if they even talked about the Lil Rod lawsuit. Like, how do you avoid all that? And again, that's probably why we never heard of the show, because all the stuff that they should have probably mentioned, they didn't mention in the show. And I'm like, man, Kevin Hart, how are you messing around with Diddy's girl? But again, like I said earlier, they share all the same women. They share all the same women. So again, with this rumor of Kevin Hart allegedly being in a tape with Diddy, I can see it. I can believe it. I don't think it's a lie. I think very much possibly either simultaneously together or one at a time or something like it. Somebody doing something shady. And the way Kevin Hart acted when they asked him about Diddy, oh yeah. Something definitely going on. What the hell is going on between the sheets in my home? I'm telling y'all. But I wanted to go over the history of Kevin Hart and all the cheating allegations and stuff like that, because I think some people forget about a lot of stuff that happened in the past. So it's nice to remind y'all, like, hey, this dude has a history of cheating and all this other stuff. So y'all better don't think these people are innocent. Not at all. Not for 1 minute. Do not think these people are innocent. They all nasty and they all got diseases and everything else going on. So just remember, allegedly, just remember all that.